Well, greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Here I am in a place called Jean Lepine in the south of France, next to Antibes, where I'm at the Cannes Film Festival for the week and here till Friday. And on this live, we've got a few people coming on this week that are co-authors with me in the new project, Start Over, Turn Any Loss into a Sensational Comeback, where in one book, 14 authors share their remarkable transformations of how they've turned their life around by going through a significant loss, adversity, or trauma, and the lesson they've learned and how they can help you overcome any adversity or loss. It's truly an incredible book series. I share a chapter of my story in every one of the books. There's 10 books in the series so far. They're both, 2 volumes have been released and they've gone straight to the top on Amazon. So now we've got one of the authors going to join us, which has just come out this week on Amazon and hit #1 in pretty much all the categories, which is really exciting. And Michelle's going to come on and share with us how she feels about that, some about of her body of work, and what her story is about. Hello, Michelle!
Hello, are you okay?
Hello!
How are you doing?
Bonsoir, mes amis, tout le monde. Welcome to the Cannes Film Festival, where we celebrate the joie de vivre.
Ah, oui. That's as far as I can go.
We're
Bonjour.
feeling very French. We're feeling very French this week because it does infect you with a kind of joy and love for life. It's an
Oh,
incredible
I bet it
place. Yeah.
does. Yeah, but you're feeling very romantic and more chilled out and whatever French people normally do.
Yes, it's been amazing. It's been totally amazing, and this has
I
been
bet.
really the start of my world tour, which started in Bulgaria last week, and now France, and then we go to Dublin and Ireland, then we go to Budapest in Hungary, then we go to Florida, New York, uh, Los Angeles, Scotland, all over the world. I'm excited because you're going to join me, Michelle.
I need to brush up on my languages, I think, won't I?
You need to do something. So, Michelle, tell us a little bit about who
Absolutely.
you are and what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Michelle Eldon. I've joined the Start Over movement just because I wanted to obviously share my story, my journey to help other people out there. My main business is actually recruitment. So for me, this is all new, to be honest, but I feel it's really, really important that every one of us is given a voice and the opportunity just to share our story. For me, it's to help others, but also actually it's been quite healing as well at the same time. So it's kind of a really positive project all round, to be
And
honest.
why did you join this movement to write about your story? What made you do that? Because it's a big step to share the story publicly, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think for me, the core reason was literally just to support and help others. Like I've been obviously at rock bottom, through family court proceedings, which is what the crux of my story is. And I just want to help others who've had those same feelings, those same emotions, that sense of overwhelm, hopelessness, the heightened levels of stress, and just to actually say to them, no, you can go through this, you can be at rock bottom, but actually you can get to that point of, here I am thriving, I've done the surviving, and now I'm literally at the point of thriving, enjoying life, which I never thought I would be, to be honest, Marco. But that's why I want to share my story, just to show those people who may be struggling still, either in proceedings or kind of, after that, but still sadly struggling, that actually it's possible to go on to live an amazing life, basically, and do wonderful things like this with yourself, which I never thought I'd be doing.
Well, I never thought I'd be doing it either this time last year. I had no clue. It wasn't even in my mind, right?
No,
Um,
it's
which is
crazy,
incredible that
yeah.
something can happen so fast, isn't it? And
Mm.
just, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that everything is temporary, isn't it? I think. And I think the more we realize that, the better, because it's so hard in those moments of darkness to go like, how the hell am I ever going to get out of this? But I think through my challenges in life, and I don't know if you'll agree, Marco, or not, but it's always been temporary. It's
Yeah.
always actually weirdly taken me to a better, more fulfilled, more purposeful point in my life. So maybe everything does happen for a reason.
So just to give some context to what you're sharing your story about, we're talking about the family courts in particular. And we're also talking about the custody of your child when you are going through a relationship, divorce, split, or whatever it may be. And
Yeah.
really told through the child's eyes of being torn between the parents who want the best for the child, but end up becoming children and fighting
Mm,
protractedly, unnecessarily.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think for me, my story and where I guess I resonate with people is actually going through a domestic abusive relationship, trying to protect my child from that sort of environment, behavior, whatever you want to call it, and actually then being thrust into, as you rightly mentioned, custody proceedings. But sadly, the children not being listened to, myself as a protective parent not being listened to, and from my perspective, and I know there's literally millions of people across the globe that have got the same story, which is horrific and actually quite heartbreaking to say, but who's actually lost their child throughout these proceedings to our
Yeah,
abuser. And that's again where my passion lies, actually. If it was just what I call a normal custody arrangement, naturally both parents should be involved. Child thrives in that kind of environment. But when you've got one parent who's perhaps not as good at influence, shall we say, as another,
yeah.
and I mean in a very serious tone, I think that's when, for me, the family court, the judicial system as a whole, should be reviewing evidence, should be, taking, depending on the child's age, consideration of wishes and feelings, emotions, etc., etc. There's a lot to it, don't get me wrong, but I think the system as its current state and how it currently operates doesn't do that in every case. I'm not saying there's not cases where that does happen, but from my experience and having spoken to thousands of people across the globe, it doesn't happen as often as it should. Let's put
Well,
it that
let's
way.
put that also in perspective because the English family courts and the courts are so backlogged with cases. It literally
Yeah.
takes you years to get any headway in the case. And by the time you get taking years, of course, the legal fees have gone through the ceiling and it starts to affect your own living, really, because it compromises your whole existence, doesn't it?
Oh, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right, Mark. And I think it has an impact, as you said, literally on life as entirety, obviously financially, but emotionally, physically sometimes for some people, they perhaps lose their job because they're trying to deal with this at the same time. And that has a wider impact on people potentially losing property, losing materialistic things such as having to sell vehicles. The impact is not just, oh, I'm going to family court proceedings, it's stressful. It literally can have a literally life changing and sadly often a negative way
Yeah.
on your whole
Now,
life.
how do you feel that your story is in the public, but more so that the book is the number one best-selling book already? How does that make you feel?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And I think I've already had people come to me, and there's a few testimonials on Amazon about my story, and I just think it's really heartwarming because I know what that feeling of hopelessness is like. And I've had people go, oh, thank you for speaking out, thank you for speaking the truth, you've really helped me, you've given me hope. And even if that was just one person, I would be like, yes, I've kind of like, fulfilled what I wanted to fulfill by writing this chapter. But I've probably had, I think it's roughly, I'd say 20 people. And I appreciate, the grand scheme of this project is very early doors. So
Yes.
that
Yeah.
made some people not sound like a lot. But to me personally, that is absolutely amazing. It's just so fulfilling and satisfying just to know those people have got hope, which is in essence sometimes all we have
Well,
got
yeah,
in these
because if you
situations.
think about it, and you know all this already, but if you think about it, the people that are in the situation where you used to be, when they talk to a lawyer, it's not really relatable because the lawyer hasn't been through it. When they read your
Yeah,
story, you've actually been through it and still going through it a little bit. So
yeah,
that's really
yeah,
powerful. That's very potent when someone can read your story and your experience, which helps them navigate their own journey. And not only saves them a lot of
yeah.
money, but it also saves them a lot of heartache and gives them actually,
Yeah,
yeah, it
absolutely.
gives them a lot of
No, you're
tools,
right.
you know?
Yeah. No, you're right, Mark. And I think if I had this when I was going through it, it would have again given me so much like emotional
Yeah.
support because I feel when you're in it, often with any life's challenges, you feel alone, you don't feel like you can reach out. So when you've got something like the Start Over movement as a whole, You kind of feel actually I can resonate with that. They've been through that, they've gone through that path, and they're now at the other side. It is such a kind of a positive feeling to have and to see that transformational journey. It's almost like the blueprint to know actually it's going to be okay. Like I'm in this shitty place now, but actually there's a path here I can take to the light, quite literally. And yeah, the whole book series in itself just encompasses that for me, and I love that about it. Yeah, it's an absolute honor to be part of
Now,
it.
before we introduce ourselves to CJ, who's just come on the call, let's just give a call to action to actually buy the books, right?
Mm.
So you've got volume 1 and 2 out right now. They both hit number 1. I think they're still at number 1 in some categories. They're still pushing it. They're still getting out there. They're still causing a ripple effect. Guys, they're on Kindle right now. Volume 1 is also on paperback. Get volume 2, get the Kindle, read the book, because it's not just about domestic violence and courts and family courts. There are diverse stories in there from all kinds of backgrounds to help you get to the next level of your life, because these are real people telling extremely gritty stories of their own heroic journeys, really sharing the story of courage, right? Because it's so lacking in today's narrative. Everyone doesn't go to courage. Politicians don't go to courage. Governments don't go to courage. People that are sitting here go to fucking courage, because literally you've got no choice. You had to do something, take massive action, and change that thing that was stopping you getting what you want. So, welcome to CJ Jansen from Canada, who's joining us today. And this is an amazing woman. She's actually also a comedian and entertainer. She had a serious virus. She's wheelchair bound 90% of the time, and not in the best of health, not because of her own fault, but she's still kicking it, still smiling, and one of the most inspirational people that I've ever met. Right? So, CJ, do you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, I do. So my name is CJ Jansen, also known as the Singing Speaker, and I use stories, songs, and skill building to help women and newly disabled people become joyfully
Yeah.
resilient. But it's for everybody. I mean, we all go through crap. We all have our really bad days. And yet, beautiful things can still happen in your life when you open yourself to love, when you open yourself to connecting with other people. And today was a perfect example. I had police banging on doors above me. I'm living in a not so safe situation because I'm in low income housing. And I was just discombobulated, and I went out to get groceries, and I thought I had enough money, and I didn't have enough money. I used my gift card and I had a little bit of cash, and then I was like in line trying to check out, and I didn't have a card. And the lady behind me said, "Don't worry about it. I've got this."
Nice.
And she paid off the remainders.
Nice.
And that was probably $20 to $40 worth of groceries that otherwise I couldn't have afforded this week. And it was just one of those beautiful moments that you go from these extreme lows to the highs because you see that love does surround you when you look for it and when you're open yourself to that possibility. I try to be that light for other people, but when it happens to yourself, you just go, "But I'm not worthy."
Yes.
But you
You
are.
are fucking worthy. And you know what you're saying is all about humility, and one of the major reasons I wrote this series, like I started this thing, is because I wanted to show that there is a vast amount of humility out there. And the reason you don't see it as much is because people are battling their own battles with cost of living crisis, challenges, courts, or you don't see what people go through behind the scenes, right? And this book series is to give you a huge shot of inspiration, but also to understand that by reading these stories, anything is possible and you can get out of where you are and change your situation. Would you agree with that, CJ?
Absolutely. My show Disabilities Unleashed is all about that. You know, last year in June, I went, it's July is Disability Pride Month, as in proud to be disabled. And I went online and I couldn't find a single event in my region. And I got mad, I got sad, and then I decided to become the change I wanted to see in the world. and I started putting on my own shows to elevate and celebrate people with
Yeah, and I'm coming to
disabilities.
see your show live in Canada. I want to see badly.
Yeah,
I'm going
but
to be there.
are you willing to be in it, Marco?
Yes, I'm willing to be in it. I'm willing to make a fool of myself.
I would hope you're not going to make a fool of yourself, but I will save you a song.
Okay,
How does that sound?
sounds good. Sounds good. So, listen, CJ, what inspired you to write your story in these #1 best-selling book series? What made you want to do this?
Because it's really important that people hear stories, because we like we live lives online and we show our best face. I only go out generally when I can speak, when I can act like a human, and I go out and pretend that I'm well for everybody else so they're not uncomfortable. But a book like this opens the curtain
Yeah.
and shows behind the scenes what is going on in private lives. And when people see that, they can relate to that and they can go, oh my goodness, I am not alone. And this is one of the things when we don't share our stories, more and more people get isolated because they don't think that they can
Yeah.
talk about it. They don't think they're worthy
Yeah.
of getting the help that they need. But when you find people that are like you, that they're your tribe, that they have, that you may have walked the path before them, and they can now follow in your footsteps and become stronger and healthier people because they read your story. That's why I wanted to write my chapter.
Yeah. And that's, you're so poetic in what you're saying and the way that you share that, because that's what inspires people to share their lives. And like you said, a lot of people don't feel worthy. Oh, I'm not important enough to share in a book and all that kind of stuff. Or, I don't feel that I would be able to help people. But actually, your story is someone else's best survival guide and thriving guide. And that's why people, if you think about it, when we read, when any human is inspired, it's always by a story.
Mm.
I'm at the Cannes Film Festival, and when you break it all down, all these films are stories told in an incredible way, and they're all told in a very set narrative of the hero's journey. Joseph Campbell's book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces, breaks it down. But actually, it's real life. That's actually what freaking happens to us all.
Yeah.
Something happens to us, we respond to it, we react to it. We either see it as a setback or we see it as an opportunity. And initially, we see it as a setback, and then you either stay with the setback and say, right, okay, well, that's what's happened to me. I've got to deal with it. Or you can say that's happened for me, and now I can learn something about myself and change the narrative. And then you go through the loss, the trauma, adversity, and you go, you know what? This is not my life, and you decide to turn it around. You make the why the purpose of the actions and do something extraordinary to your own life, and that inspires other people to raise themselves up to your level because they realize, fuck, CJ can do it, Michelle can do it, why the fuck and I can't do it? They start looking in the mirror and saying, hang on a minute, don't be a dick, you can do this, right? So, guys, buy the book, read the stories, because you will be absolutely so engaged with those stories, so enamored, so inspired, you're going to want to change things immediately when you read. And that's what I want to leave this message with today. Michelle, any final words that you want to say to the audience?
Just to say, don't let your past influence your future, because we've all got a past, haven't we? We view that ourselves in a different ways, but actually that does not define you. Just keep moving forward, small steps if it need be at a time, and you will get to your final destination. I think these books just really encompass that no matter what that past is, you can still go on just to lead a fulfilling life, and you are deserving a fulfilling life. Many people sadly feel they don't because of that history. Actually, we all do, and these books are just testament to that.
CJ, you want to say any last words today?
just know that no matter where you are right now, that it may seem hard, it may seem impossible, but there is hope. And you have to find the willingness to reach outside of yourself and ask for help. And that's hard. That can be really hard, but it's worth every ounce of energy it takes. And we're here.
Yeah.
We're listening.
Yes, we are here. And it does take, again, it takes courage to ask for something you don't think you're going to get, which is why most people don't ask, right? And it's the people that believe anything's possible, because sometimes people don't have any choice. They have to ask because they're so desperate, right? But that help is always provided. It's always provided when you ask. I've never known anyone ask for something not get what they want if they've asked for it the right way from the right place. So this is what this is about. Now, anyone that buys the books this week, I've got an amazing bonus. I'm giving away a free lifetime replay masterclass of how to make $10,000 online every month with your personal brand and your business. All you have to do is DM me on Instagram or send an email to marco@marcorobinson.com with the receipt and a review of the book, and I will send you the classes where I sell it for $399 USD. So it's a great incentive for you guys. I've already had loads of people buy it this week, and they love that incentive. So that's what I want to give as my little giveaway this week. I thank CJ and Michelle for coming on. And we're going to do lives every day. I've been canned till the end of the week. Let's just get this party started. We've already started. As I said, we're not even on page one yet. We've got live events in Dublin on June the 14th, Hungary July the 5th. We're going to go to North America and Canada and see CJ. Loads of things going on. Get involved. Get on our Facebook group. DM me if you want to be involved, and let's do this. Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you, CJ.
Thank you
Love you
both.
guys. Bye.
Bye. Bye.